What's up, everyone? It's your boy Scott. Welcome to the Scott Report, and also welcome to Volume 8, Episode 3 of the RWBY recap. A little bit late, but hey, we're here. We're going to keep going with the RWBY. I said I was going to do it, and we're going to stick to that, or at least as long as we can. But without further ado, let's just get right to the heart of the matter of this episode, because Ironwood is just freaking evil. I know I said maybe, just maybe, there might be some room for redemption for him in this volume, but nah. Where he is now, some of the things he's done in these last 2 episodes, and just volume 8 coming into the end of volume 7 to begin with, he is at the point of no return. And I know I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but this was indeed the biggest part of the episode, because Ironwood's plan, or his next plan as far as his mastery of evil that he's kind of spilling up, is to actually control Penny. I mean, he wants to basically take her, reboot her, remake her into his own image and use her for a machine of evil. And if anything that we've learned from Penny right now, that is one of her biggest fears, is her losing control, or somebody taking control of her and making her do things against her will, especially what we seen last volume with her being framed for the murder of all the people in Robin's group in that ceremony or that party, or, you know, the election thing. And now we have Ironwood and the good bad doctor sitting there trying to plot for her downfall and basically use her as a weapon of evil. I mean, this would only work to their advantage, because you also can't forget that small detail that she is a Winter Maiden. So when you take that into consideration, you take all the hurt and the pain that's going to cause Penny by being controlled. Man, this is crazy. Ironwood is definitely went to the point of no return. If you look at it, you saw him sliding deep down, but maybe you would have thought that he would recognize the things that he's doing wrong, but now he's just straight up a villain in RWBY, and this is very interesting. This is something that I pointed out in the last video in my recap, where the adults are supposed to be the beacons. You know, they're supposed to be who these heroes look up to when things are down, and it seems like the adults has been the reason for all of the problems in RWBY. There's just no turning back for Ironwood, and I never thought that we would see this, but RWBY always surprises us, so it looks like that's where we are now. The thing that I worry about the most here is us losing Penny again. If they take Penny away from us one more time, like if she makes a sacrifice, or even if this like reboot doesn't work and she goes evil, it's just gonna hurt me 10 times over. And with her being the maiden and all that burden, and with Salem being after her, the team also wants to keep her isolated as well. Penny wants to do everything she can to help everybody through these times, but they're like, no, Salem is after you, so you need to stay back as far as you can so you don't get everybody in trouble, you know, you don't get caught. We want to keep you protected, but at the same time, Penny is also the driving force that they need. So that's a weird situation as well, and I don't know, I just feel like all of this stress is going to make her drop her guard. She's going to get really sad, and Ironwood's plan is going to succeed because of all these things that are building up and becoming distractions and just working on the mental state of Penny right now. And that's not what we need with a maiden that's on our side. And like I was saying, if they take Penny away from us again, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm not going to be able to handle it. We already had her taken away once. She was always so happy and combat ready, and it's possible that she's going to turn to a combat ready murder bot, so there's that too. One thing that we did see in this episode, that Penny has a pretty good grasp on the Winter Maiden powers as well. I mean, she basically took out all 4 of, you know, Ironwood's soldiers, or she did a good job on her own going against those until, you know, the rest of the team came in. And we already knew these guys aren't pushovers. We saw Team RWBY take them to the limit, even though RWBY got the advantage. We always knew that this team was about their stuff. So with Penny being Penny and her having this maiden power, and she's just doing as good as she did, I was really happy about that. And it was clean too. This was the first big fight scene that we had in volume 8 so far, and it wasn't disappointing at all. Just especially seeing, you know, Penny just going in with these winter powers. I really liked it. The fights in RWBY has always been one of the biggest things that people like about the series the most, and they never lack in that department. They may not be as spectacular as they used to be back when the late great Monty Ohm was doing things, but the fights are still something that you kind of come to RWBY for. You expect for them to bring it every time they do it. So for now, we got to see Penny shine. That was a good part of, and the beginning of the accomplishments that Team RWBY is making. This was also due to, you know, Penny's well thought out planning, because Penny was definitely the MVP in this episode. This was basically, they should have just called this Penny. It was just Penny this entire episode, because when they were in the it's slipping my mind right now what this place is called. Wherever they were trying to evacuate to, when they got to the command post and they saw it was full of guards and everything, it was Penny who came up with the plan to get them out of the situation they were in, because it was filled with guards. They're like, how are we going to get through? You know, the camouflage might not work. Penny coming through in the clutch and telling RWBY, like, when you use your ability, when you use your semblance, when you speed through, you basically break down the atoms, or like kind of like something that's not density, just molecules. Did you ever think that you could maybe take everybody else and do that same thing too? So you can grab everybody, get us through in one swoop, and that should work. And it was great because it did work. Not as cleanly as they thought it would, because the guards were everywhere. And it was also by the quick thoughts of Nora that got them through as well, you know, because they were going through and Ironwood and the doctor actually discovered that they were there. The security was higher, the plan was in jeopardy. And once they were invisible, it was Nora with the quick thinking, just to cause a little bit of distraction, to have a guy drop some coffee on the terminal. That sent everybody into a rampage. And because of that, they were able to use RWBY's ability to get through it. It worked, and I liked the little dig that Blake put in as well, where she was saying, she know how to use your powers better than you, RWBY. You got some explaining to do right now. So that was pretty cool. I mean, just to see Penny on this grand scale is just going to make us hurt more, to see how much she's growing, and to see all the fears that she's having about herself is actually coming to light. But we'll just have to see where that goes. Once again, another great. See, this is why we like Penny, because Penny, she's more than a robot. You see, she's developing feelings. She's planning on her feet. She's making everything work. And again, I said this time and time again in each one of these videos, another thing they're really focusing on with this volume of RWBY is just the separation of the teams, because Nora pointed out that this is the first time that she's really been without Ren. Ren has always been by her side, and now with them on different sides of the field but on the same team, it's to the point where she will have a big moment. She can't have a big moment where she can be somebody besides the Nora Smash character that we love. We love that side of Nora, but she's beginning to second guess herself and beginning to want better for herself. Like, maybe it's time for me to strike out on my own. Maybe it's time for me to do some things on my own without Ren, because he's always been by my side. But who am I without him? And now I'm at the point in my life where I need to find that out. So it was a lot to unpack in this episode. I mean, it was kind of straightforward as far as the goal. You know, we really didn't get too much besides a big reveal of what Ironwood is doing, but it was just the things that we can unpack like this with Nora. Even had her own big, you know, moment in this episode, and, you know, taking out the door, finding her new powers. That we always knew she can absorb lightning, but it seems like she did something a little bit different this time, so that was cool as well. And, you know, just her having that talk with Weiss and was like, you know what, maybe it's just time for you to strike out on your own and see what you can do on your own. You don't always need him to make you better, girl. So that was cool too. So overall, the plan succeeds for now, because Ironwood's team backed out because he told them to, because now that he has possession of one of her swords, he can move forward with trying to actually, you know, take her over. Team RWBY they're not dumb about this either. They're looking about like, wait a minute, these guys let us go a little bit too easy. Something's up here. You know, Salem is still going. They know that the team is in the base now, so maybe they need to make a little bit more haste. We know how these things are. We probably won't get right back to this next week. We'll probably get over to what Team Team Yang is doing right now on their side of things, even though we got that a little bit last week. I just don't think we're going to get right back to this resolution, but we got to keep our fingers crossed. Let's pray for Penny and hope for the best. And that is it for RWBY Recap for this week. I know it's a little bit late, but it's better late than never. So that just means you guys might get a double one this week, because if one comes on Saturday too, we're going to have to go ahead and cover that. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and end it here. As always, thank you guys for joining me. If you liked the video, go ahead and drop a like. If you want to hear more, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And hit that bell, so when I do drop a video, you know when it actually comes out. And of course, the plug that I'm always plugging, and even though I need to get back on that too, follow me on Twitch as well. That link will be in the description for some gaming goodies, and especially with Cyberpunk coming out. So that's going to be fun to catch up with your boy, and I'll catch up with you guys soon. So on that note, it's your boy Scott signing out. See you soon.